Not every vision comes from the eyes. There is a way of seeing that doesn't depend on light, color, or distance. It's a kind of perception that's born when God decides to activate something inside you. It's not about dreams or mystical revelations. It's real, present, visible. Suddenly, everything around you begins to emit signals. People, environments, gestures, intentions. It's as if you had lived for years in a blurry world, and only now everything has come into focus. When God activates the eyes of the chosen, He doesn't give just any gift. He gives a silent power that separates truth from lies, direction from distraction, purpose from noise. This doesn't happen to everyone, and it doesn't happen dramatically. It happens in the silence of maturity, in the field of obedience, in the timing of the Spirit. You don't ask for this vision. It comes when you're ready, and when it comes, nothing remains the same. You begin to see what's behind, what's hidden, what no one else notices. You perceive pain in those who pretend to be strong. You discern traps where others only see opportunities. You understand looks, silences, and movements that once went unnoticed. God opens your eyes, and with that vision comes responsibility. To see requires positioning, and if you're here, maybe you've already felt the beginning of this awakening. Before we continue with the 7 signs that your eyes have been activated by God, I want to ask you something simple. Follow this channel and share this message with someone you know is also beginning to see. The chosen ones do not walk alone. They recognize each other in the midst of the crowd. When the eyes open, the disguise falls. When God activates the eyes of the chosen, one of the first changes is the way you see people. It's not about gossip, judgment, or superficial impressions. It's about practical revelation. You begin to perceive attitudes, intentions, and manipulations that once went unnoticed. People who deceived you for years suddenly lose control of the narrative. You enter environments and feel discomfort, not because something changed, but because now you have changed. God allows you to see not what is spoken, but what's behind it. This awakening isn't the result of distrust or trauma. It's a gift. It's like what happened with Jesus in John 2:24-25. He did not entrust himself to them, for he knew all people. He did not need any testimony about mankind, for he knew what was in each person. This kind of vision disarms toxic environments. You no longer react as before. You don't try to defend, explain, or please yourself. The discerning eye also protects you. It's as if God says, I show you so that you may know who you walk with. But pay attention. Seeing truth can be painful. Discovering that not everyone who smiled at you was truly by your side requires emotional strength. And that's why God activates your eyes at the right time, not before. Another sign that your eyes have been activated is that you lose pleasure in bad company. Not because you think you're better, but because something within you cries out, this place is no longer yours. What once entertained you now tires you. What once seemed harmless now feels dangerous. This separation isn't religious, it's instinctive. The Spirit protects you first through vision. You withdraw, even without giving explanations, because you've seen what you needed to see. And more, you begin to detect what's real within yourself as well. Opened eyes don't just see outward, they see inward. God shows you your emotional addictions, toxic patterns, and insecurities disguised as faith. He removes the veil so you can see yourself honestly. Without this step, there's no growth. That's what happened with Isaiah in chapter 6. He saw the Lord on the throne, surrounded by seraphim, and immediately said, Woe to me! I am ruined, for I am a man of unclean lips. The vision broke him, but it also healed him. Because when God activates the eyes of the chosen, He never reveals to shame but to heal, deliver, and send. You also begin to see time differently. What once seemed like delay, you now understand as deliverance. What you called closed doors, you now recognize as divine protection. Activated eyes bring maturity of interpretation. You no longer react in desperation, because you now know that God works behind the scenes, even when it doesn't look like it. This type of vision disturbs hell, because those who can see are not easily manipulated. Those who see don't chase distractions. And that's why many chosen ones suffer silent rejections. The enemy knows you're beginning to see, and that changes everything. Seeing too much can be lonely, but it's in that solitude that God refines your focus. Don't mourn your open eyes. Be grateful, because now you're living outside the illusion. Activated eyes see the invisible that governs the visible. When God activates the eyes of the chosen, they begin to realize that everything carries a deeper meaning. Conversations, encounters, decisions, even daily delays. Nothing seems random anymore. You perceive that the visible world is only a layer, and behind it operates something far more real. The natural world is still there, but now you see the invisible threads that move it. That changes your reactions. You stop arguing with people and start fighting where the real battle is. Spiritually, practically, positionally. You understand what Paul wrote in Ephesians 6:12. Our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Those whose eyes have been activated pray differently. They don't make vague prayers. They don't say, "Let God's will be done." A chosen one who sees prays with strategy, because they've seen what needs to be torn down. They pray to cut roots, not leaves. They don't waste time on what's superficial. Another sign, your dreams change, literally. You begin having clearer, more direct dreams, warnings, even confirmations. God begins to use that channel to align your perception. Sometimes there aren't even strange symbols. It's straightforward, almost like a conversation. It's not because you've become mystical, but because your eyes now remain open, even while you sleep. You also begin to perceive God's movements in others. Before, you only noticed those who hurt you. Now you also see those who were sent to strengthen you. Activated eyes aren't only for protection. They are also for recognition. You begin identifying true alliances, strategic connections, people on the same mission. That's what happened with Jesus and Nathanael in John 1:47-48. Jesus saw him and said, "Here truly is an Israelite in whom there is no deceit," and added, "Before Philip called you, I saw you under the fig tree." Jesus was describing a detailed, specific vision. Activated eyes don't see crowds, they see hearts. Another effect of this vision, you begin to prepare better. Those who see beyond anticipate. The chosen with activated eyes stop living to put out fires and start building with vision. They plan with wisdom, invest energy where there is purpose, not noise. Finally, you become a point of light. Even in silence, your presence confronts. The gaze of a chosen one reveals that they know what others don't. That unsettles, but it also attracts. People will seek you out in moments of crisis, not because you shout, but because you see what they still cannot. And that's what defines a true chosen one. Not what they say, but what they see. You begin to see yourself as God sees you. When the eyes of the chosen are activated, the reflection in the mirror changes, not physically but spiritually. You begin to see who you truly are, not what others said about you, not what trauma built, but what God planted inside you before you were born. The vision is internal, clear, and firm. You stop seeing yourself as a victim and begin to see yourself as an instrument. Before you cried out for help. Now you understand you were raised up to help others. Your self-perception aligns with what is written in Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. That knowledge changes everything. It deprograms the lies the world installed in you. This new vision also reveals dormant gifts. You start to realize you have talents, abilities, and intuitions you never valued. Not because they were weak, but because they were hidden under fear, comparison, or religiosity. When God activates your eyes, He doesn't make you think you're better than others. He reminds you of who you are in Him. And this recognition comes with responsibility. It's not for self-promotion, it's for alignment. When you understand what you carry, you stop exposing yourself to environments that suppress your essence. You protect yourself, not out of pride, but from awareness of purpose. You stop accepting invitations that cancel what God has activated in you. Another sign is that you begin to treat yourself better. A chosen one who truly sees who they are takes care of their mind, emotions, and body. You no longer allow yourself to remain trapped in destructive cycles. When you see your worth, you naturally begin to set boundaries. God activates your eyes, so you stop sabotaging yourself and start taking your rightful place. That's what happened with Moses. He grew up in the palace, believing he was an Egyptian. But when he saw the suffering of his people, something awakened. Hebrews 11:24-25 says, "By faith, Moses refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to be mistreated with the people of God. He saw who he was, and that changed his destiny." This vision of yourself frees you from the need for approval. You no longer live to please. You live to fulfill your calling. That is power. It's not arrogance. It's clarity. Activated eyes eliminate the doubt about your place. You understand there's no need to compete, imitate, or chase. You just walk your path. And more, you begin to see yourself with compassion. Because before God uses you, He heals you. Activated eyes reveal not only your purpose, but also your wounds. And He does that gently, without exposing you. Because healing is part of preparation. When you see your pain through God's eyes, you stop hiding and begin to be truly healed. You begin to identify God's timing with precision. Another sign that your eyes have been activated is that you start to see God's timing clearly. This completely changes the way you act, decide, and wait. Time stops being an enemy and becomes an ally. You understand that God doesn't work with haste, but with purpose. Before, you confused delay with rejection. Now you understand that heaven has a schedule, and this discernment prevents you from making impulsive decisions. Those who see God's timing don't despair over doors that haven't yet opened. He takes care to prepare you before preparing the environment. It was the same with Joseph in Egypt. He received the dream early but had to wait years to see it fulfilled. In Genesis 41:14 we read, "Then Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and they brought him quickly out of the dungeon." When God's time came, no system was able to hold Joseph back. But he could wait because he saw something beyond the prison bars. You begin to notice signs, small movements from heaven indicating that the season has shifted. People who once ignored you now connect. Doors that seemed locked start to open without you forcing them. You feel it in your spirit. The time has come. This isn't emotion. It's revelation. This vision prevents you from planting in the wrong season. And it gives you wisdom not to harvest too early, because a harvest outside its time becomes waste. When your eyes are activated, you understand that not everything good is meant for now. That saves energy, prevents frustration, and positions you for blessing at the exact moment it's meant to come. You also begin to recognize when something has ended. Before, you kept insisting on staying where God no longer was. Now you feel when the cloud moves. Exodus 40:36-37 says, "The people only marched when the cloud lifted from the tabernacle. If it didn't lift, they stayed." That is active vision, walking by what you see in God, not by what you desire. Activated eyes recognize processes. You understand that everything has rhythm. There's a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to hide and a time to appear. This frees you from the anxiety of making it happen quickly, because those who see the right time know. What belongs to God is never lost. It's being prepared. You perceive what is hidden behind people's intentions. When God activates the eyes of the chosen, something changes in the way you deal with people. You don't become distrustful, but you begin to see beyond words. You understand that not every smile is sincere, not every compliment is pure, and not every connection is sent by God. This isn't judgment, it's discernment. Chosen ones with activated eyes receive the ability to identify hidden intentions. You sense when someone comes close only out of self-interest, when sweet words mask manipulation, when there's falsehood behind gestures that appear affectionate. And all this happens without the person saying a single wrong thing. Your spirit picks it up, your soul recognizes it. This ability frees you from dangerous emotional ties. Toxic relationships lose their grip. You stop insisting where there's no truth, and start attracting pure connections aligned with your calling. It's as if God places an invisible filter before your eyes, and you simply can no longer deceive yourself. That's what happened with Jesus. In John 2:24-25, it's written, "But Jesus would not entrust himself to them, for he knew all people and did not need anyone to testify about mankind, for he himself knew what was in a person he saw beyond." He didn't reject people, but neither was he naive with them. Activated eyes bring emotional protection, because the chosen one who sees clearly no longer gets hurt out of neediness. They draw close by purpose, and that changes everything. You no longer cling to friendships that drain you or enter alliances that weaken your spirit. You sense when someone wasn't sent by God, and quietly step away with wisdom. This discernment also lets you see who is suffering inside, even while smiling outside. You begin recognizing hidden wounds, and that makes you more sensitive, compassionate, and useful in the kingdom. Because instead of reacting to masks, you touch hearts. It's a kind of vision that edifies and protects at the same time. With activated eyes, you also begin to perceive subtle spiritual deviations. Just because someone appears righteous doesn't mean they're on the right path. Many appearances of holiness hide pride, rebellion, or even spiritual deception. And you feel it. You don't judge, but you pray more precisely, guard yourself more carefully, and engage with greater discernment. This isn't being cold. It's maturity. Because those who see as God sees no longer live by appearances. They live by essence. And essence is revealed in the details that only activated eyes can perceive. This is one of the most precious signs of the power released upon the chosen ones. You see opportunities where before you only saw impossibilities. When the eyes are activated, the chosen begin to see possibilities amid chaos. Where others see closed doors, you notice a crack. Where many see limitations, you see a chance to grow. Because now your vision is not natural. It is shaped by faith, illuminated by the Spirit, and trained to detect paths where there are no roads. This is not positive thinking, it's supernatural vision. It's like looking at a barren field and already imagining the harvest, or stepping into a valley and knowing that God is going to raise something new there. Activated eyes free you from the paralysis of fear and the prison of limited logic. You begin to act based on what heaven shows you, not on what your physical eyes see. That's exactly what happened with Elisha. In 2 Kings 6:17, when his servant was terrified before the enemy army, Elisha prayed, "Lord, open his eyes so that he may see." And God did. Then he saw horses and chariots of fire around them. The reality didn't change, but the vision changed everything. Those who have activated eyes understand that not every difficulty is an ending. Sometimes it's just a redirection. You start noticing doors that others ignore, connections that seem small but carry purpose, difficult situations that are actually preparing something much greater. This vision pulls you out of complaint and places you into movement. This active vision also increases your creativity. Ideas that once seemed distant begin to flow. Solutions rise up in your spirit. You look at problems with a mind aligned to heaven and begin finding new paths. That sharpened vision becomes divine strategy. Few things paralyze a chosen one more than not knowing who they are. Many live stuck because they don't see themselves as God sees them. But when He activates someone's eyes, transformation begins from within. Before seeing the world differently, the chosen one begins to see themselves through heaven's eyes. And that changes everything. When the eyes are activated, you start recognizing the value God placed inside you. It's not pride, it's awareness. You look in the mirror and no longer see only your flaws or what others have said about you. You begin to notice gifts, beauty, strength, and ability. You understand that you are neither an accident nor a mistake. You were intentionally created by a God who wastes nothing. This kind of inner vision unlocks purpose, because you begin to step out of the victim role. Guilt loses space, comparison loses power, and shame no longer dictates your decisions. When God opens your eyes to who you are, He is actually restoring your identity. You no longer live to please others. You live to fulfill what you were designed to do. In the Bible, a powerful example is Gideon. In Judges 6:12, the angel of the Lord appears and says, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." But Gideon didn't see that. He saw himself as weak, small, the least in the most insignificant family. Then God changed how he saw himself, and Gideon went from insecure to leader of a chosen army. That happens to you too. When your eyes are activated, you begin to see the anointing you carry. You begin to understand why the enemy attacked you so much. It wasn't because you are weak. It was because you are a threat. You realize that the pain you endured didn't define you. It prepared you. And that your value doesn't come from external opinions, but from what God declared since the womb. Activated eyes free you from the "I'm not capable" syndrome, because now you clearly see that God didn't choose you by accident. And if He called you, He also equips you. You realize you don't need to imitate anyone. Your vision begins to distinguish what is genuine from what is forced. You embrace who you are, with the gifts you have, on the unique path God designed. This clarity also helps you say no with courage, because now you recognize when people are belittling you, using you, or pushing you out of the place God put you in. You stop begging for space. You stop trying to prove who you are, because you simply know who you are. And that knowledge is power. It aligns your posture, your voice, and your decisions. The activation of your eyes also makes you see how much you have already overcome. You look back and realize you've made it this far only because you were sustained by God. You begin to value your journey, no matter how hard it's been. You start to honor your story, even with its scars and falls, because now you see meaning in everything that once seemed like chaos. When God activates the eyes of the chosen, He is not just revealing hidden things. He is preparing you for a new level of responsibility. What you see now can no longer be ignored. And what once went unnoticed now becomes clear. That changes everything. How you pray, how you decide, how you walk, and even how you remain silent. You no longer live on autopilot. You don't blend into just any environment. You're not impressed by what is superficial. Your eyes discern what is from God and what is distraction. This doesn't make you better than anyone, just more aware of who you are and what you carry. It's impossible to be chosen and keep seeing life with the same eyes as before. Each of the 7 signs we have seen here points to something greater. God doesn't open your eyes just so you can see, but so you can move. What you do with this new vision defines your next steps. And whoever decides to move forward with activated eyes must be willing to walk with faith, courage, and obedience. If this message spoke to you, if any of these signs confirmed something you were already feeling, I want to ask you 2 things. Comment below what touched your heart the most. Share your experience. Your voice might be exactly what another chosen one needs to read today. And send this message to someone you sense is in the process of having their eyes opened by God. Because the chosen recognize other chosen ones. They don't walk alone. They grow stronger together. We're just getting started. What comes after seeing is living with purpose.